Hey, what's up, everyone? Dave here with my buddy Robotech Guy.
Yes, we're back and excited and ready to talk new generation. What's
That's
going on,
right.
Dave?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I am good. As usual, drinking my Protoculture fuel out of my awesome Min May shaker cup by Advanced. If you like these, you can get them. There's a link in my profile on Instagram, along with a 10% discount code. Anyways, enough plugging. Let's talk new generation, man. What's up?
Hey, the new gen is the third chapter of the Robotech saga, and in Japan it was called Genesis Climber Mospeada, and it ran for 25 episodes, final 25 episodes of the Robotech, and it's pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool, man. I mean, it's number two the
Mhm.
out of the three chapters, it's number two for me. But I mean, it's it's pretty close to Macross Saga. I mean, it was really good. I really enjoyed the new gen.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I love it. As a kid, it was my favorite. As I've grown older, Matt is my favorite. This is a very close second, though. My all-time favorite character, Scott Bernard.
Scott's a good character. I like Scott, and I think a lot of the characters are pretty good in the new gen. I mean, for me,
Yeah.
I liked that main crew.
Hmm.
Minus Annie. Annie was just, but Scott, Rook, Rand, Lancer, Lunk. I liked that whole crew. But I would say for me, Rand was my favorite one out of all those characters. I mean, he had balls, and he also was absolutely hilarious throughout the whole series. I mean, it was too funny, and
I
so.
agree. I agree. He has some fun lines, and I've been watching that, trying to get a little bit more refreshed for this episode here. And he's got some great ones. Just say I hear him say stuff, and it just cracks me up. I love Rand. He's one of the best. I love all the characters except Annie. Like you said, I could do without Annie. Still trying to find out what her purpose is in the group, aside from the occasional comic relief. I don't know. Maybe you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she was a weird one, but uh, I'm going to compare her. Actually, I'm going to compare her a little bit to people. Probably going to get mad if people who like the Southern Cross probably get mad, but I'm going to compare her to Dana Sterling. And the way I felt about Dana was like Dana was great when it came to the combat portion, but then when it was the downtime, she was really annoying. But then Annie, to me, was like the opposite. Like when it came to the combat, she has no purpose other than like to scream and yell.
Yeah.
But when it came to like the downtime, she was like the comic relief, alongside with the one-liners that Rand would throw out.
There's going to be a lot of backlash for that Dana comparison. Just want you to know that mystery man will probably be one of them. He's not gonna be happy with that comment. So I saw Annie fire a weapon just once, and actually twice. It was in the same episode. I think it was episode two of the chapter where she's just in the scrap heap. And she's like gets that gun and she gets the rocket launcher and
Yes, yes,
you know
yes.
yeah. So that was kind of, I thought maybe we'll get some more, but it never happened. She just got more and more annoying. But I love Dana Sterling too, by the way. So there are times that she has her moments where it's like that's a little much, but yeah, it's
But
okay though.
Annie did have one other one.
This
In your favorite episode, she had that one. She had a moment. She had a moment in your favorite episode.
did she? Now I gotta watch it again. Really?
Because because they were they were doing their plan to take out the shock troopers,
Mm.
and then she ends up knocking out Rand, and they tie him up, and then she jumps on the cyclone instead of Rand. She jumps on the cyclone with her guy, who ends up becoming her husband, so she can make him a man. So they jump on the cyclone, and that's when they have the shock troopers chase after them, and they lure them into the trap. So she had some action there a little bit.
Okay, I guess I'll have to go watch it again, and I won't skip it when I get there this time. So. And also, just to clarify, because this will be a ways up, and I'll show proof in, and I'm sure you already know, but that survey that I put on Instagram, or the poll that I put with the little clip of the three of them, that is from
Hmm.
Abby's wedding.
So now that episode too, that did confuse me a bit, in that she got married and was loving it, and then all of a sudden in the next episode she showed up where the other guys were and was like, I'm not a village girl. Like, yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's her whole time through this part of the series. Every guy she encountered, she was like, "Are you married? Oh, hey, you're my new boyfriend." It's like, "You're my new fiance."
right. Even Lunk, right? Like, I'm married. No.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
Love crazed teenager.
She was a weird one. It was a weird
Yeah,
one.
yeah. And he was strange, but
Uh,
occasional funny lines. She does make you laugh every now and then, so I guess that's her purpose. Comic relief.
exactly, exactly. But hey, Scott was great though. I really liked Scott.
Love Scott Bernard, man. That was, what's funny is Scott Bernard, just the cyclone, the way he battled everything. That's what just made him my favorite character as a kid, and that has stayed that way to this day. Collect as much Scott Bernard memorabilia as I can,
There he is.
and that's the man right there, right there. So, I have, I have a long history of collecting merchandise. So this is the Sentinel one. It's like you stick Bernard, of course, right, for the sticklers, and then of course you have these here. So that this is the new Mosho one, and that's the scale, right, comparison. So I still need to do a video opening this bad boy up, but that it's in the pipeline, and I can't wait to put them all on display.
They're gonna be pretty cool, man. Because I mean, I've seen pictures of those, and
Yeah.
they look nice. Especially that newer one. That was it Mosho, right? That's the
Yes,
name of the
yes.
company.
This one right here, the one that says Robotech on it.
Which is what we're talking about today.
Yes, we're talking Robotech. But actually, did you know that? Yeah, yes, we know.
Somebody will point it out. Don't worry. Somebody will point it out in the
Always, never
comments.
fails, right? Yeah, there's always a few of those weirdos, but whatever.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
Well, you like. Well, the Cyclone is your favorite mecha
Yes.
from this part, right?
From anything. Like I love the Cyclone. I just as a kid, it was just I remember seeing it transform. I mean, and it's actually the first episode that I remember the most was Scott Bernard just killing the Invid, saving Rand, and just watching him jump around, and the little sight that pops out and just firing the missiles off I don't even know what the heck they're called, but yeah, just awesome. I love it.
Oh, now that you mention it, we'll try and play this clip and
Ooh,
see if we have
bonus.
any luck with it. So
Sure. We get the
add it
popcorn.
here.
Kettle corn, actually.
How they store it in the alpha there.
Yes, this episode right here. The emergency view.
Looks like I'm.
I really like that though. I like how it's that it's compact like that.
Yep.
Where it's easily stored in there, and then yet if it crashes like he did there, in the first episode, you can easily just pop it out, and then it transforms on its own into the bike.
So epic.
And we got the little action here
Like
for
I'm
you.
gonna work out
The
sooner than
helmet.
I thought.
Always love that design.
Am I dreaming or what?
That's such a cool
Friend,
transformation.
I'll take over from here.
Right there.
Well, you guys sure are ugly. Now, let's see if you can fight.
And those are the Invis shock troopers.
Sorry, better luck next time.
Like it
I mean, it's
is.
armed to the teeth,
Yeah.
Sorry, here I am. You need glasses. Okay, time to stop
Glasses.
fooling around. It's all over.
He's just toying with those giant Invid shock troopers. Love it. Love it. Just and then the lines, right? I uploaded that same clip for the Genesis Climber Mospeada, and while it's cool visually, from a music and a dialogue standpoint, it does not even compare to Robotech. And what's funny is on TikTok, somebody from Japan actually commented in Japanese saying that, this was called Mospeada in Japan. It was not a big hit by any means. In the United States, it was Robotech. I like it. That could mean he likes the Mospeada version and the Robotech but they admit, right, it was a flop in Japan. It just wasn't well received in Japan. And then, Carl Masick and Harmony Gold bring it over here and add it to Robotech. And it's just like me, and I'm sure there are many others like myself that just absolutely loved it. The characters, the music, the dialogue, everything.
Yeah, they did a good job with this one. I mean, they picked the right one to add to this part. Um, I've my one complaint I feel like for the show was that I feel like it has a little bit of a lull in terms of the episodes in the middle of it. I feel like it starts out really well, and then as you get kind of like halfway through it, it kind of gets a little bit of a lull, and that there's just a lot of the same stuff over and over again. But then it does pick up once you get past the halfway mark, and especially towards the end. I mean, I love the last couple episodes, and I know one episode I think that you really liked too was Hired Gun, right?
Yes.
With Dusty.
Dusty.
That was really cool. I mean, that was a cool character. I wish that there was a little bit more with him. You know, like I would have liked to see something like maybe him show up sooner and like taking people out and all here and there. It's like you don't know who he is or whatever. It's just kind of like this mystery character, and then that episode pops up and you find out who he is and what he's all about and stuff. But
Oh yeah,
I thought that was a cool episode.
he could have his own spin-off series, right? Like a 10-episode series dedicated just to Dusty, or maybe even more, right? 20 episodes. And that's one of the unique things about the new generation is that they have all these single episode characters. Paper Hero, where they go into that village to deliver the book to Old Man Nader,
Yep.
and the villagers with the horrible Mexican accents. Pedro, yeah,
That was bad. That was
yeah, it cracks me up still, and so it's a decent episode though, kind of sad, he's like, and then Lung's driving off. Never really did learn the name of the village or something like that, and then they pop into Eulogy with Jonathan Wolfe, the traitor slash hero slash however you want to view him, right?
Yeah.
And there's just several others. The episode with Sue Graham. I'm sure I've missed a few. I don't want to list them line by line. You guys can go watch it on Crunchyroll or YouTube or DVD, Blu-ray, whatever the heck you have it. But watch it again and look at all the unique characters. And Dusty Ayers is one of my favorites. That whole episode just starts off brutal, man, where he just takes down that whole crew.
Oh, well, in the beginning with that, he just shoots the dude right in the face. I was like, oh,
Yeah, that's a
crap.
wicked shot.
Yeah,
The sound too. It's like,
which again for a kids show, that's something else.
I didn't see that episode as a kid. That's not one that I saw, and I wish I would have. I probably would have loved it even more. But I remember being 19 and collecting all the VHS tapes again and watching it, going, "Holy crap, this is awesome!"
Yeah. Well, and he had that cool freaking bike too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't quite a Cyclone, but it seemed like a Frankenstein creation, or like
him.
like a Cyclone mixed with something else, and it was armed to the teeth too,
Yep.
But that was pretty damn cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And he actually bested Scott Bernard, and he was tough. He was tough, man. And yeah, I like that episode a lot.
Well, he had that, the whole right side of his body was like cybernetic and everything, but like, fused or empowered by like the protoculture and all. And I always thought that part was cool. Where like they thought he was dead, and he comes out of the wreckage, and they're like, "Oh my god," and then he starts fighting, hand to hand, and like when he punches Scott, like you said, it's like, "Oh crap!" Like That cybernetic arm or whatever, the cybernetic part of him is so strong. It's like he's able to hit him and knock the wind out of him.
Yeah. Now, if he could take out Lynn Kyle, then I'd really be impressed.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants.
We'll never know, right? We'll never know.
Hey, AI is coming pretty far. You could try and make one, make a clip like that.
I would love or that, or the 2D fighter video game concept, right? That I had thought about a while back. That would be so cool, just to have all these Robotech characters, Dusty, and make it in the style of maybe like the Marvel Capcom or even like a Mortal Kombat type game. That would be sweet.
Yeah.
Wonder
Well,
how
Mortal
long,
Kombat, yeah, that'd be funny.
right? Oh, fatalities, right? Dusty
Oh
Ayers.
God. Yeah, he would be perfect for that.
Oh yeah. Fun stuff.
But the circle back to like the mecha and all, my favorite one. I mean, I like the Cyclone a lot. I really do. But I really like the Alphas. I really like the Alpha Fighter and the design of those.
Yeah.
I thought they were pretty cool, and how they can link up with the Beta Fighter and everything. So I always thought that was pretty interesting. I feel like they should have done more. I wish they had been able to do more with the Beta Fighter. In that, you really kind of only see it flying around occasionally when they find one, and then it's really not until the final episode where you actually see it, like in action, like real action.
It's true. You're right. And it's you see them in the first episode when they're battling the Invid out in space, right? Every single Alpha has a Beta attached to it, and even Scott has his when he's descending into Earth, and then he jettisons it at some point. I guess I don't really see it, and then we don't see it till a little bit later, and then Beta, and then he gets out there and this big old clunky Beta fighter, and then right at the end, I mean that's what he uses to kill Korg ultimately.
Yeah.
So it's they were pretty cool, and then of course they have those Sentinel figures coming out soon that are on pre-order. The two that actually link up. That's exciting.
Oh yeah, I just saw that on Big Bad Toy Store. I saw that on there. They have that. It's pretty expensive. Yeah, it's pretty expensive, But
yeah, it's gonna set you back about $600 or more if you decide to buy both of them. So I'm kind of on the fence right now. I may do a pre-order then and just kind of go mow some lawns or something in the meantime to make some extra money.
Luckily I got the Masterpiece ones when they came out. I mean, the Masterpiece Beta is so huge. I mean, it's like
really
gigantic.
Yeah.
When we get into the episode, we're talking about the specific figures and stuff. I'll definitely bring it out and
awesome
and show it. I never actually linked them up though. I don't even know if you can.
That was going to be my question. Can they link up? That'd be kind of sweet because apparently these new ones by Sentinel actually they've shown them pictures where they actually link up. So that's kind of cool. But
so I don't know. I never tried, to be quite honest with you. I never tried.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't take them out and mess with them either. Those Masterpieces are awesome.
But I got a clip real quick.
Yeah.
For just quick, that part that you were talking about in the beginning where they're all the Alpha and Betas together.
Water.
Yeah, well, right before they get slaughtered.
Division Veritech switch to Battloid mode immediately.
So there's your there's your Alpha fighters in the Battloid mode, and then you got the Betas in the background, right there attached to them. Pretty cool.
It. Little still frame there. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And little did we know that was its own fighter at some point. It was going to be its own fighter. So that's pretty cool, right? Maybe it was just like a little tease, right? And then obviously it worked because later on we're like, oh, that's what that was. Cool.
I know, right? I mean, it kind of doesn't. It looks more like maybe like an extra, like extra ammo storage or something like that.
Yeah.
Right now, but then it doesn't seem like it's its own thing. But then it's pretty cool that eventually it's like, oh yeah, no, it could be its own, its own fighter. So that was cool.
Yep, yep. What would be cool for a reboot idea would be to make them combine to make a big old giant, Battleoid or something. That'd be kind of sweet, little Voltron type deal.
That'd be interesting to see if it to link up or well, yeah, no, my idea probably wouldn't work. I was thinking of like it kind of coming apart a little bit and becoming like battle armor onto the
Ooh, like a heavy armor. I like
yeah,
it.
like like the heavy armor
Yeah,
from the Macross Saga, but it's the beta, and it
yeah.
comes apart and like engulfs like the Alpha fighter and becomes like that an extra set of armor, but also armaments. You know.
Like the Cyclone, right? They got their little the armor on, and then it just goes on. Like my sound effects, it goes on. Still got the kid sound effects. Right? I don't know what the hell that was, but yeah. That
But
was
let's see. I have one other clip I wanted to show real quick for the alphas. 'Cause because again, like I said, I like the alphas a lot. So I got a little clip for some action for the alpha. This was the one where when Lunk brings Scott to the alpha that Lunk was
yes.
upkeeping and everything. So he finally gets a new alpha now after having lost his in the first episode.
Lonely Soldier Boy.
Yep, that's right. That's the right episode. They go into battle with the shock troopers. Transformation.
And the overkill. Totally unnecessary, but awesome.
I remember you posted that. I remember you posted that clip. So I was like, I had to keep it going, and I had to keep it going with the whole battle, and make sure that part was in there. The
Yeah.
overkill.
Yeah, the image like, oh shit. They turn around, it's like, sorry, man, it just rained on you guys. It's like, one or two missiles would have done, but Scott had to show off and just empty the whole suit. It's fine. We got a great visual, right? I love it.
That was just funny though. It's like the whole armament's just going. It's just two fighters he's going after. And like, oh shit.
He probably could have just done it with the rifle, right? The standard weapon, but he had to put on
Yeah,
the show, which again, no complaints here.
yeah, or just the shoulder ones, the shoulder missiles. If he just used the shoulder missiles, that would have been
Would have been fine.
that would have been fine. That would have been fine too. Then you would have had the ones in the legs. Now you gotta go scrounge up some more missiles.
Right? Yep. Get to work, Lunk. Get that scrap metal. Still,
But I was like that. I like that scene because it shows you the alpha flying up, and then you got the transformation and a little bit of action, a little bit of battle. So yeah, that's cool though.
the man Scott Bernard, showing off, showing his skills off, right, and just totally destroying the Invid. He that had to feel good for him, especially after what happened to Marlene. It was still fresh in his mind, and so he's death to all Invid.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that was a rough start to this chapter, man. That first episode that was rough.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean they came there thinking, all right, they're gonna be able to kind of take out the Invid or at least put up a fight. But I mean, and they got freaking wiped out, and then of course that part where it's like he's gonna marry this girl. She says yes, and all of a sudden she dies right in front of him like that, and I was like, wow, that's hard. That's hard and that's
That
rough.
was yeah, but that's Robotech, right? That's what we get with Robotech. Just uncertainty, unpredictability, and nobody's secure. Not necessarily right. Your main characters are pretty secure, but we didn't know.
Mostly.
Yeah, mostly right. We yeah, Boy Folker. But we didn't know at that part either what was going to happen, and that was just yeah, you're right. It's just they got this hopeful army coming back to take the planet back from the Invid, attack Reflex Point, destroy the Regis, and just the sheer overwhelming numbers of the Invid out in space just completely destroyed everything. Crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, and again, I mean, that's one of the things about the show is that it just tugs at your emotions at times, and that one was definitely a scene where it tugs at you because I mean he's yelling at the guy to like pull up, get out, because the captain, the commander, or whatever, he is trying. He's just like, we gotta go, we gotta keep going. It doesn't matter. We just gotta keep going and trying to get through the Earth's atmosphere to get to Reflex Point. And he's like, you're not gonna make it, man. Like you gotta get out of there. And he's begging him because he knows his girl is there, and and then he
Yep.
just watches as the ship is just destroyed in front of him. It's freaking
Yeah,
nuts.
and the Invid come back, right? More of them come back, and you can see right before it explodes, there's a little Invid with his little claws wrapped around the neck of that ship.
Yeah, scout
So,
troopers. Yeah.
yeah, even if they would have pulled up, I think the Invid would have just torn them apart anyway. So it was just they never had a chance, right? That military mentality was there, right? Only the mission, only the mission. That's why I give Sue Graham a little bit of a pass, right, for her sticking to her assignment. Everybody hates Sue Graham. I'm kind of on the fence with Sue Graham. I like Sue Graham.
I don't
But I
mind
get
her.
a lot
I
of
don't
heat from
mind
that. Yeah. But Scott didn't like her until the end. Then at the end he gives her, you were the most dedicated and blah blah blah. It's like, all right, make up your mind, Scott.
her.
Yeah.
She wasn't the worst. Jumping back to like the characters and stuff like that. One of the cool things too about this part, which also separates it from like the Masters
Mhm.
chapter, really too, is the fact that you got episodes for the characters, like talking about the characters, and you get their backstories and stuff like that. Like with the Masters, we didn't really get anything except for Dana,
Yeah.
and you know who Bowie is, but that's pretty much it, But with at least with this one, we got Rook. We got her little backstory there, and she was in that town, and she was part of that gang.
Yeah.
Um, and then of course with Lancer, I always thought that was really cool. The whole thing with him that he got found by a woman. He was in he was a soldier, and he was in his alpha and got shot down, and she found him and took him in, and then the mobs were going around at that time, rounding up soldiers to kill, and she just like put the makeup on him and everything, and made him look like a woman, and he had a successful singing career after that. His yellow.
I really love that about the new generation series. And again, credit to the creator of the original series for doing that, and then even more credit to what Carl Masick was able to do to spin that and turn it into that story with these characters. I do love that we get the backstories of so many of them. I'm trying to think. Did we get Rand's backstory? Did we get anything from him?
No, we did. Actually, we
Yeah.
didn't. We got Lunk though.
Yeah.
We did get Lunk's backstory.
Yeah,
You know,
he felt bad for leaving his buddy to die.
he wasn't gonna be able to save him. I mean,
No,
they were
he made
vastly
the right
outnumbered.
choice.
It's just like
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do at that point unless you really want to just kill yourself. That's
Yep.
basically what it came down to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And speaking of Yellow Dancer, the music of Michael Bradley is it's amazing. I mean,
yeah,
I love it. I love the songs, the Michael Bradley songs, the Yellow Dancer, and the people of Paraguay and Chile and everywhere else, Portugal, wherever they are, they love Robotech. Man, he performs there. I don't know if he does anymore, but I know
really,
there's several clips of him doing live performances in some of those places. And it's pretty cool. Kind of jealous, right? I never got to see Michael Bradley perform, but I sure as heck would have paid to see him. That's for sure. Guys,
yeah.
had to give the Michael Bradley shout out, right? Because he's awesome. I love those songs that he does for Robotech. Might have to cover them someday myself.
I'm sure a lot of people would love to see that. I would love to see that for sure.
Hey, count on it. I'll do it. I'll make it happen.
You gotta put it. You gotta put on the Lancer wig though. You gotta put the Lancer wig.
Maybe if I was like those rock stars, from like the '80s, like how they look now, I'll have that kind of look to me. Let it go, man. Let it go.
But yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. And then again, there's another separation from this and the Masters, where like the Masters didn't have a character like that and didn't have like those songs that you could love.
Yeah.
Where New Gen had Yellow Dancer, and of course Michael Bradley is the singing voice and all, and he was great. He really was. I mean, I love Lonely Soldier Boy,
Yeah.
and Look Up the Sky is Falling was another one that he did. I mean, I really like those ones. I
Yeah.
mean, we'll do a whole episode, about the music and stuff, but I have to say that those two, along with um, "We Will Win," I mean, that's like my top three
Yeah.
in terms of songs for me. Like those are my three favorite ones. And one thing I like too was that actually because they did have Yellow Dancer sing "We Will Win,"
Hmm.
Min May's song. But I liked that they changed it up a little bit. They didn't change up the lyrics, but they changed up like the music part of it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't exactly the same in terms of like the music portion of it, the sound of it. I liked the change. I like that they changed it a little bit instead of just completely copying it. But
Yeah. Yeah. They did. They again, phenomenal job, right? With creating Robotech using, having, okay, here's what we have to work with. We got to make it work. And god dang it, did they make it work, right? In terms of just everything, footage, characters, storyline, music. I mean, to me, it's a uh, no, nobody's gonna agree with me, but I think it's a perfect anime. I love it. Just all three. I don't care what anybody says. That's just my opinion. I love it. Nobody's gonna change my mind ever, anyway. So. Not even you, mystery man.
but yeah, I like and this is distinctively different too from the other chapters because it's Scott starting out at point A and he's got to get to point B, right? He starts out here, he crash lands. It's like now I got to trek all the way to Reflex Point to try and complete the mission. And
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool. There was that sort of thing, and they're scrapping for supplies here and there, and you know trying to salvage what they can for whatever they come across and that sort of thing. I thought
yeah.
that was pretty cool. You know.
Yeah, no, there's it's so cool. Like every episode, you're in for something new and different, right? New characters, new adventure, new way to get out of trouble with the Invid. And the cool thing is, I think somebody mentioned, I can't remember who, it might have been you in one of the comments, is that you have like these big bases and big fleets that just get destroyed and overwhelmed by the Invid, and this small band is able just to kind of break through and win these small little battles all the way up to Reflex Point. It's like maybe they're the Invid's arrogance, right? They just felt like they didn't need to, because I mean, if they would have sent those sheer numbers, they probably could have wiped out that little motley crew there. But they just never really was. Hey, we'll send a couple shock troopers to take care of them. We're good, and it never worked.
And even when they created the enforcers didn't really even have that much more luck either.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. The Invid, there's just so many different ones that are so cool, right? That we get to see in this one, and I don't even know the names of all of them. Robotech Guy doesn't know. No, I don't. I don't know. I know the shock troopers, the scout troopers, and like you said, the enforcers. But then there's so many just different variants of Invid troopers, and it's, to me, it's pretty sweet. We never even got the Hellcats until Robotech 2, but and all the inorganics, but pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. A lot you can build on.
Yeah, and that's another cool thing about this one. Again, I keep making it sound like I'm bashing the Masters saga. But I'm trying the Masters chapter, but I'm trying not to. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be too bad with it, but again, with that there wasn't a whole lot of variation. You had the bioroids, and that was it. Right? You had blue
Yeah.
ones, and then you had the one red one, and then here, like you said, you have all these different variations of the Invid mecha, and they're all pretty cool. And then, like, of course, you have Korg and Sarah when they come into the picture. They have their own specialty ones,
Yeah.
and those were pretty damn cool. Korg's especially. I mean, I like his a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Korg, of course, and he was a formidable fighter. I didn't care for him, but he was pretty formidable as a fighter, and he was able to take down Scott in the Alpha, which was pretty impressive in its own right.
Oh yeah,
And
he
took,
beat his ass. He beat his ass in that one, man.
he did, he really
He
did. I wasn't gonna say it, because Scott, he did beat his
Sorry, I
ass
had
pretty bad.
to.
Yeah, and then of course it took Rand and Rook a little bit, and Rook screwed it all up, of course. And Rand had him, real MVP, right? There's your boy Rand, and
He had him.
Scott comes in and saves him. in the beta, and
Yeah, that's when we
rest
get
is
to see the
history.
beta in action.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So it's pretty sweet. I love it. Yeah, I love all those variants. I do like the I forget the name of the episode, but it's where they were the old guys, right? That they mentioned from the that they fought in the war with the Robotech Masters, and they got Shorty that can't remember his name.
Yes.
Yeah,
Until until the end, then he remembers his name.
yeah, right. I remember my name. It's
Yeah. Boom.
all right. Interesting. I need to rewatch Genesis Climber Mospeada because I'm curious to see what the dialogue was for that episode. I haven't seen it in years. Last time I watched it was actually on the master the Perfect Collection, the VHS tapes back in the late '90s when I bought them. So I know it's on Crunchyroll. So at some point I'm gonna have to go through it and watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I would love to. I would love to see what the accurate subtitles with it, so you can actually see the full on story and exactly what what's being said and stuff like that. That'll
Yeah.
be pretty interesting to compare the two. I mean, I know the story. I'm pretty sure for Genesis Climber Mospeada was pretty similar in that these aliens. I think they were called the In-Bit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. In bit.
Yeah, they invaded Earth and took over Earth because they were looking for a place that they can um, evolve into like the perfect species and everything. And then
Mhm.
the people from Mars came by. That's why everything says Mars on it, like Mars Division, and Scott's for the Mars Division and stuff like that. So everything came from Mars to come and try and liberate the Earth. But yeah, definitely that is on my list to do to check out the original.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely want to check that out. So maybe I'll have to check out that before I check out the Gundam series. Getting into that.
But
So
the episode you mentioned was pretty cool too, and that with the old guys, they had crash landed there, and they were like, "Yeah, we're just like not, we're done. We fought before, and we're just kind of done."
yeah,
That was
they just
pretty
want to
interesting.
smuggle crap and sell it right for profit and all their booze and I love it. Yeah, and one of the coolest parts to me is when I forget his name, Gabby, I think his name is, where he's the guy that doesn't talk.
Hmm.
When he's trying to get that broadcast, that machine to broadcast. And I remember as a kid, I thought that was Rick Hunter on the screen, and again, just 7-year-old, just amazed, didn't fully process with me, and so obviously come to find out that was his son that he was trying to communicate with, which was pretty cool. I really like that about that episode. Of course, he decides he's going to go in and face the Invid by himself, which there's a lot of that, right? The whole lone figure. You hear the narrator, a lone figure. But a lot of them try to do that for some reason, and just doesn't work, man.
Yeah, but again, it comes back to like I said before, it's, they with the show, man, they find ways to really get you in terms of like I thought that was kind of a sad scene, an emotional scene. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, this is what he was trying so hard to do, was trying to get in touch with his son. Where they find that pendant, like
Yeah.
like Scott has the one with Marlene, and now he has
Mhm.
one for his son. That left him a message. And the guy was just trying to get back to his son, and it was just like, wow, it was that, when once you realize that the guy who was sending those messages was his son, and he was trying desperately to try and be able to talk to him, and you know let his son see him, and he rides off, and it's just like maybe he figures doing what he did would inspire the other guys, which it did, to stand up and just be like, we can't just sit back anymore. We got to do something.
Yeah, yeah, and they did, right? They finally they snapped out of it. Well, at least the leader guy did. And it was kind of cool to see the old hats get their redemption there and take out that Invid hive, which was to me was pretty cool. Little self sacrifice there. So it was cool. That little gives you a little bit of chills, little emotional chills for me at least when I watch that episode. It's fun. It's cool.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the show, man. That's Robotech. That's what
That's
they.
it, right? Again, those single episode characters that we get, right? Those guys, the old guys, and like I said, we get the Jonathan Wolf, the Sue Graham, the Dusty Ayers, and the characters in Annie's Wedding. Yeah.
See now with Wolf now, right? I was curious when I watched after watching that episode. Like, did that whole town get wiped out? I wonder. Because remember, he was selling soldiers off basically to the Invid for
Yeah.
protoculture and safety, and then at the end of the episode, you see the shock troopers around it, and then it looks as the scene pulls out, you see like it looks like it's just a still, it's just a still
Mhm.
image at that point, but you see the scout troopers like basically it looks like they're swarming going to swarm the town. So I wonder if they all got wiped out from that.
That was the impression that I got, that they were just about to, like, you know what, all right, this is, you're done, man. Like, they're gonna wipe out this whole town. That's the impression that I got from that they were just, okay, he's gone. He betrayed us. He was feeding us soldiers, and now that it's over, deal's off. We're killing everybody. And
Yeah.
a recurring theme too, right? Like, even I think it's episode number 2 where Rook makes her grand entrance, which I think is absolutely phenomenal with the way Rook enters, enter Rook, I call it, where her and Rand and Annie are kind of in trouble, and Rook, you see the little spark, little sparkle, and then she shows up and just starts shooting all the Invid. But even Annie's boyfriend, right, sells them out. That little town, they sell them out to thinking about taking them to the other island.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. They're selling out soldiers, right? Just, here you go, Invid. Leave us alone. Want to live in peace? Kill them. We'll deal, right? Wolf's
Hmm.
doing that, and there might even be another one. I can't remember, but yeah. To your point, I think that I'm pretty sure that whole little city got wiped out.
Yeah, that's like I said, that's a big uh, big point in the show. There's a lot of that kind of selling out stuff, a lot of betrayal in this chapter. People just selling out others to the Invid just to survive.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad to to see that. But it's kind of like you wonder. It's probably going to happen. It would probably happen. I mean, it definitely would happen. I would say
Oh yeah.
actually,
Oh
at
yeah.
times. Not everybody's going to do it, but I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot probably doing it. I mean, hell, look at the Walking Dead. They have it in the Walking Dead, right? There's a lot of people doing that sort of thing. Killing people for supplies and stuff like that, and that's kind of like what's happening in this.
Yeah. Happens in corporate America. Not the killing part. Well, not to my knowledge, at least. But the people, they stab each other in the back to get promotions and recognition, or steal sales. I mean, it happens, right? It's human nature, I guess. One of the darker sides of human nature. But yeah, that's again, it depicts real life in a way. And even way back then, right? We saw that where they're just selling their own people for a chance at living in freedom, or not necessarily freedom, because I think they even
Live it a
said,
little bit longer,
yeah, we want to
basically.
live in peace, even if it means giving up our freedom, something like that. I can't remember the exact line, but yeah, redemption is a big part of that series too, right? A lot of these guys have the single episode characters. You portray them one way, and they somehow try to redeem themselves. Wolf being one of them. That's why I said Wolf. He's a traitor, right? Obviously, but he can also be looked at as a hero to the people of that city, at least up until the point where the Invid got mad and wiped him out. Dusty Ayers kind of redeemed himself a little bit. Sue Graham, somewhat. I don't know how. I think she just more understood the this whole thing of sacrifice, as Lancer said. But yeah, redemption. The old guys, right? They're lazy. They don't want to fight anymore. They don't give a crap, and then they come in and just sacrifice themselves. Big part of that to me, I got was redemption on this, and it's a pretty cool thing to see.
Oh, you're absolutely 100% right on that. Yeah, honestly, I thought of that theme of all this betrayal and stuff like that, and that some people do get their redemptions and things like that. But you put it very very elegantly. You put it very well. I like the way you put it.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a price to pay, right? Like, okay, you can still redeem yourself, but doesn't mean that your deeds are going to go unpunished, right? Like Wolf, he paid with his life. The old guys, same thing. Is all big sacrifice. I mean, I think everybody died. I think about it. Almost
Yeah.
all the characters died that had a little bit of a redemption arc in their story, which is unfortunate because I think it would have been cool to see maybe even the old guys stick around a little bit longer, a couple episodes, and everybody, right? Dusty would have been cool, like you said. Sue Graham, I don't know what purpose she would have served unless she could fight, which we never really saw. She always wore that cyclone armor, but she had her little camera with her. She did tell him where that cannon was at, though, which was cool. And trying to think of anybody else. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now, but they all paid for their deeds one way or another.
Yeah, yeah. Well, even what was that one with the secret passageway through the mountains and stuff? Where
Yeah,
that guy was selling the fake maps and stuff like that, and then it was like just like basically just sending people out to slaughter for money. That was that guy. I wish that guy had got killed, but he didn't. He didn't
you're
get
right.
killed. But
You're right. He didn't.
that's one guy I wish had gotten it at the end.
Yeah, just had like an invid fall on him or something like that. That would have been sweet.
but but yeah, that was cool. And
I
Sue
I
Graham
agree.
really comes in at the end,
Yeah, I think
really.
it's like what the
So
second or third to last episode where she pops in.
yeah, so she doesn't have a whole lot to, you know, she doesn't. She's not really given a whole lot of screen time and stuff. A whole lot. So it's kind of tough for that character, unfortunately.
It is. It is. I think the biggest thing that we don't like, or that most people don't like, is that she filmed her squad die, right? And that's what pissed off Scott Bernard the most. Is you just stood there and filmed everybody die,
Yeah,
and they had to hold him back. And she's like, "Well, my assignment, blah blah blah, my mission, okay, whatever." But I mean, she would have been just as dead as the of them, I guess, in a way, right? And
yeah,
she introduces them to the shadow fight, the shadow device, and then we learn about where she's like, I got pictures of an invid in the body of a human, and so anybody who bleeds green blood might be is an invid or an alien, and then of course they all turn on Marlene, which sucks, you know.
Well, even with that, yeah, I mean that was an interesting storyline too. That they put her in there to be a spy,
Mhm.
and then she starts becoming more human and getting those emotions and such. And again, another kind of like kicking the balls for Scott, because he falls in love with her, gives her the name of his, dead fiance, because she wasn't telling them she didn't have a name for them to call her. So he gives her that name, and then he falls in love, and then finds out that she's an invid, and it's just like, damn. He's so angry about it too. In the end, he's just so mad about the fact that she's an alien, but then she's still in love with him. And yeah, I thought that was an interesting storyline that they put in there.
Yeah. And what's crazy is, I mean, back then, and we didn't know until till the Shadow Chronicles came out, and it might have been in some of the comics. I don't know, because I didn't read them. But he just leaves her high and dry, too. He leaves her behind. She comes to his rescue, and he gets his butt kicked by Korg, and he's like, I gotta get back to the fight. Takes off, and then at the end, right, he just abandons everybody to go find Admiral Hunter and the SDF-3. So it's yeah, I feel bad for her. But then you find out that she follows them, and makes her way up to the to where they're at, and in
Yeah,
Shadow Chronicles we get the rest. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's actually pretty decent. We just wish we would have had more.
yeah. Well, I have to say, um, I liked the finale. I liked the final two episodes of the new gen. I thought they were fantastic. I thought the last two episodes were really fantastic. I mean, the only thing I didn't like, the only thing I didn't like about like the final episode, the one part that kind of annoyed me was when Lancer went with Sarah, um, when the hive was being invaded by the shadow fighters,
Mhm.
with the shadow fighters, and then he was there, and they were basically like killing humans. They were killing the humans who were attacking. Like that kind of annoyed me because even Scott killed a few of them when he came and
Yeah,
rescued them. He killed a few of them, and it's like, yeah, it's like, is it justified or isn't it? Because it's like they don't know what's going on. They don't know that the Regis is trying to leave now. That she's been convinced to leave, and that the war is going to end. They don't know this, and they're just doing their job. They were sent in to do a job to save the Earth, and they're going in there to take out Reflex Point. They're just doing what they're supposed to do. They see an Invid, they're attacking Sarah because she's an Invid, and then they start getting all wiped out and it's like I don't know. I just feel so indifferent about that part where they were just killing other
I
soldiers
agree
like
with
that.
you. It was tough, right? Because you're like, wait, these are they're on our side, right? These are they're on your side, and here you are, betraying them when they and of course they had no idea why, right? They, like you said, they see the Invid. Their mission is to destroy them, destroy Reflex Point, and these poor bastards just got blown up by their own people.
Yeah,
Which sucks, and to even further that point, right? They're like, well, you know what? F it. Send the neutron S missiles in. They're gonna wipe out the whole planet. At the wipe out the Invid at the expense of the planet. Insane, right? So the Regis is like, you know what? Nah, we're good. We'll leave, and I'm gonna have do you guys a little solid here and take out these missiles and a couple of these carriers, and we're good. So it was.
and and again, it goes back to like how cool and unique the show is,
Mhm.
and the fact that they bring in things like like again, I'm gonna say it again. It really wasn't too present in the Masters saga in terms of how it affected the outcome, but like love, love was there, but it didn't really affect the outcome. Whereas in this part, Sarah falls in love with Lancer, and she makes the case with the Regis of uh, well, her and Marlene actually, well, Ariel, I should say,
Yep.
because Ariel's her actual
Her
Invid
Invid
name.
name. Yeah.
She falls in love with Scott, and Sarah falls in love with Lancer, and they make the case with the Regis that like, look, we're no better than what happened. What we're doing to them is no different from what happened to us. Having what the Robotech Masters did to them and their planet. Taking it over and things like that. And it was that love that they felt, that emotion that took these two Invid to go there and basically stand up for humanity and just talk with the Regis and pretty much kind of convince her that like we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't we
Yeah.
shouldn't be doing what we're doing. We got and it convinces her to leave. And I thought that was pretty cool. Again, the show like is teaching you different things and has these different messages and stuff like that. And again, like we were talking about before, with killing those soldiers, and then of course the whole betrayal thing, all the backstabbing that is going on. It's like, you know, they're really getting into like morals and stuff like that, and the morality of things. And as you said, the neutron S missiles is another thing that even fans debate about too, like the morality of using those
Yeah.
on the Earth and everything. So I mean, that again, what I'm trying to say is just basically like it's just this is why we love this show so much, and how cool it is that it is a just anime and the show for everybody, not just kids, and it could teach you teaching these lessons, and
Oh yeah.
showing
Yeah.
these positive these messages that are positive, and also makes you think about it, like what is right and what's wrong.
Perfect. Exactly. Well said. And we got that at such a young age, right? Me being 7 years old, seeing all this, being exposed to all this, right? And you can say what you want about modern movies have inclusion and diversity. We've had that, right? We've had that since way back then. We had the interracial couples. We mentioned it, I think, in the first episode with Roy and Claudia. And you got Bowie and music, right? And then you've got Scott and Marlene, Sierra and Lancer. We got the Lancer character, Yellow Dancer, right? And there's just so many different things that we were exposed to, and so, like when I hear them people talk about diversity and inclusion nowadays, it's like, well, we've always been exposed to that, right? It's just, no, I don't want to get too into the weeds on that. It's like that part, but that's one. Not, I don't say it's one of the reasons I'm very accepting of people, because I was raised that way. But Robotech kind of reinforce that in a way with that, and like you said, right, we have these decisions. Okay, do we want to keep fighting, or do we want to nuke the whole planet to get rid of the Invid? And that's Admiral Hunter's order. So,
That's true. Yeah, he's got an answer for that one.
yeah, yeah.
um,
And again, hey, the disappearance of the SDF-3 is that old karma in Robotech coming back. For those of you who've read the novels, you already know, but
well, I have a clip for part of the ending of the show. I know you want to see the neutron S missiles and stuff like that. So
always.
let's see if it works. Hopefully it works fine.
On your target coordinates, Commander. Ready whenever you are, sir.
Commence neutron missile firing on command.
As a kid, I thought that was Rick Hunter.
So those are the ships that had folded from the expeditionary force right there that folded from wherever, from where they were, Tyrol space or wherever it was where the Masters were and all. Well, the Masters' homeworld was, and everything coming to Earth to try and save the Earth. And then, like you said, Rick Hunter said that if it looks like the battle is lost, just wipe out the Earth, right?
Yep.
The only thing we can do now is pray it's not a mistake.
The final attack has begun, and a terrible error has been made.
And that's the Regis, of course, in case anybody watching doesn't know. That's the Regis, the head of the Invid on Earth.
Right, the mother.
The mother, yes.
We shall not be defeated. Hear me, my children. When we sensed the first faint indications of the protoculture resources on this world, we thought that at last we had found the home for which we searched. Called together all of our people scattered throughout the galaxies to begin life anew on this planet. We began rebuilding a world that had been nearly destroyed by evil. And we constructed the Genesis pits in order to pursue the path of enlightened evolution. But it was not enough.
That's so cool that how she's able to just turn into like this beam of energy, like basically taking all of the Invid and such with her like that. It's pretty crazy. What's so powerful is those missiles that were going to destroy the whole planet.
The Earth is gradually reviving and eventually will regain its proper balance in accordance with the laws of nature. However, the humans have been influenced too strongly by the shadow of the Robotech Masters and are intent only in the destruction of their entire race. It shall not be. We will continue our evolutionary development elsewhere.
Yeah, that's real cool.
Come with me, discard this world and follow the spirit of light as he beckons us onward!
The iconic shot I did to them. I got it, man. How powerful are those freaking neutron S missiles? When I counted 6, maybe 7.
I just want to try and get it at that spot with the characters.
Oh yeah,
There.
right there. Yep,
Your main crew.
that's the crew
Minus
right
Annie.
there. You got little Annie right there. I had to have her in there.
Oh, there, she is in there. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I thought she wasn't there.
And there's Scott's chin.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a cool ending to the new gen chapter, man.
Yeah.
I always thought that was cool. And then of course with Lancer as Yellow Dancer having his concert, and then you see Scott, leaving. I thought that was pretty cool too. Such a cool kind of like an open-ended ending where you could continue it if you want. He's going out to space to try and find the SDF-3 and Rick Hunter. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I like that, the way he looks back as he's flying. He pictures each character, and then they kind of show them what
Yes.
they're doing, where they're going, and then the credits roll, and then we get the start over with Rick Hunter and Lisa. I'm like, what? Rick Hunter was never coming back.
So now, I know you mentioned it in the last video. And I'll say it here, because you're right. It's almost like it's like Star Wars in a way. And again, as you said before, we're not comparing this to Star Wars. We're not saying it's as good as Star Wars or whatever. We're something completely different. But we're just talking about like the structure of it, in that you had the part one with the Macross saga, with the good guys winning, and then we had the middle part where the good guys really didn't win, right? Because you had the Flower of Life seeding all over the planet, and it's like, all right, well, we know it ends on like a sour note.
Mhm.
And then you had the third part where it's like you had like the ultimate victory, right? So I thought about it more after you had mentioned it, and I thought I was, I just wanted to say it again because it was pretty accurate in terms of the way that the layout of the show.
There are a lot of similarities, right? Alderaan getting destroyed, Earth getting destroyed. The battle continues. They ultimately wipe out the enemy in their ship. But in Star Wars, right, the Empire is just this constant presence, right? The villains are there. Again, not doing a direct comparison, just more along from a storytelling standpoint. You have some similarities. The cliffhanger middle, where it's just kind of doom and gloom crap. We kind of won, but not really, and we're gonna be wiped out even further. And next episode, the invasion happens, and reinforces that. And then you have this small band of rebels that takes over. There's no Ewoks, unfortunately. I guess Annie could be
She's the Ewok.
considered an Ewok, but yeah. And her husband, Annie's wedding, little village there, right? The primitive tribe, and and I always thought I kind of, part of me wanted the Regis to get wiped out, because I remember I saw it as a kid, the last episode, but I remember thinking the Invid were going to get totally annihilated at some point by Admiral Hunter and his fleet, and it's just kind of a surprise ending, right? The Regis never really dies. She just packs her bags and leaves, and see you. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. And what's pretty interesting too, that you never actually see the Invid in their form. Like you just see like kind of like almost like a blob, basically, like a circular thing, like thing of energy, basically, that they put into the shock troopers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you don't actually see what they look like. She's the only one that you actually see, in a form, and then the other ones are the ones that she shapes into humans. And it's not until Robotech 2 that you actually see like the slug form of the actual Invid and all.
The Regent.
Oh, the Regent, yeah, and his other, and his other cronies and stuff.
Little domestic dispute there in that one scene.
We'll definitely, get into Robotech 2 at some point.
Yeah.
But I just want to say one other thing at the end with comparing the ending to like kind of another iconic trilogy. To me, I'm going to say, to me, the best trilogy ever in cinema, The Lord of the Rings.
Mhm.
The way that it finally ends, right? With everybody going, the whole fellowship, right? They had this journey. It's kind of similar in a way. They started Rivendell, and go to Mordor, right? Like it's A to B, and then this part is kind of the same thing. They start wherever Scott crash lands, and they get all the way to Reflex Point, and then at the very end, when they complete the task, they all go their separate ways, and that happens in Lord of the Rings too, right? They all kind of go their separate ways, especially if you watch the extended editions where it shows you like everybody going off on their own thing, and this one too, like you said, it showed everybody kind of going off on their own thing. Lunk and Annie going off, and doing one thing, Rook and Rand, Scott, Lancer, and Sarah. So that was pretty cool. I just wanted to throw that out there. Probably get a little hate for that, but
Not by me, man. I love Lord of the Rings. I agree. I love those extended versions too. Those are cool. We should do a series on that someday. I'd be down to talk about that. Again, I'm more on the casual side, right? But still, it'd be fun to talk about those because that has some iconic stuff on its own, right? And like you said, it does have a comparison. There's certain things, right? Certain battles, grand scale battles. I won't mention any, but yeah, I mean, and in covering the new generation, like there's a lot that we missed that we didn't cover because we could probably talk for a good 8 hours about this and not skip a beat
yeah,
if we break it down. And maybe we will do an episode by episode breakdown. Who knows? But watch it. I mean, if you're curious, if you haven't seen Robotech, watch it. I encourage you to give it a chance. Right, start with do it in order. Right, by all means, start with the Macross Saga. Check out the Masters. Get into New Generation. And thankfully, and watch Love Live Alive. That's another one. If you can find it, it's hard to find on. I don't even know if it's on YouTube. I think there might be clips, but if you can find it, it was only made available. It was it was part of the Genesis Climber Mospeada. It was a later release, of course, right? And then later it was packaged with the Shadow Chronicles DVD. It came as a 2-disc set. That's the only way to get the actual physical media.
that's what
But
I've seen.
it's worth a watch. It really is because they actually added some new footage here and there, and then they have the original footage, of course, with their little cassette recorder. But it's worth watching to kind of get a little bit more post-war recap, and so that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to be a spoiler, but it's pretty good. It's a good watch. It's worth checking out. And again, we could have been left with just Robotech, right? What we had. And we got a little teasers here and there, Love Live Alive, Shadow Chronicles, the Sentinels, and I think that's what's kind of driven the diehard fans. We want more, and so hopefully, again, I say hopefully, that's all I can say, right? We can hope that at some point we're going to get more. We're going to get either a reboot or a movie or even a series, right? Some type of series would be sweet, done right, done the right way. I think would be phenomenal.
Yeah, and to go back to like wanting more, I mean, one thing I forgot to say before was I definitely wish we had more at the beginning of the new gen.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this, I think I've said it in previous episodes. This is another thing where it's difficult for the people putting this together because they had 3 different series that had nothing to do with one another, and it would have been nice to have a little bit something in the beginning to show, like even a little bit of a battle between the Invid and the Southern Cross people and the Bioroids, because you're kind of left with the question of like what happened, other than like they just kind of come down and like that's it, it's over. They took over the Earth real quick, boom, 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 1, 2, 3. But like it would have been nice to see little skirmishes, like the Bioroids fighting alongside the Southern Cross forces and all. And there is one little thing there that they show, a little clip in that first episode that they don't really touch on at all afterwards, is that it looks like, to me at least, that there's ships taken off.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people are getting away, but like it's like, do they get away? Like, did they get killed in space? It would have been nice if, like, say, Harmony Gold went to the animators and was like, "Hey, I know it costs a lot or whatever, especially back then to make animation, but it would have been nice if they threw some money at them and be like, "Hey, can you just animate like say 2 minutes, like just 2 minutes? You don't even have to like put the voice dialogue in it. They didn't even need voice dialogue. Just a little bit of animation to show like, hey, all these guys they fought to the end." So that like Dana and her crew could get out, and like these other civilians were loading up onto the ships and stuff, and they're getting they get out and stuff. Like that would have been nice to see, if they had
Even
been
still
able to do
frames.
something like that.
Yeah,
that
even still
too.
frames with the narrator going would have been awesome. I mean, we're 40 years past that, unfortunately, but it can still be done. I know there's artists out there that can do it, right? And it can still be done.
Somebody could do it, especially with AI, with the way AI is now, right? Somebody could do it. Come on.
Yeah, easy. All right, that's
Maybe
it. I'm
next
gonna
project.
take it upon myself here. I'm gonna study AI and animation, I'll do it.
There we go. But all right. But in the end here, new gen, great chapter in
Yes.
Robotech. So that's the 3 chapters of Robotech. We've completed, and thanks everybody for watching this episode. This episode was a lot of fun, especially again because New Gen was so much fun to watch and such a cool chapter. But we'll be back with some more and more for the celebration of Robotech and its 40th anniversary this year. All right, and again, I'm going to have links to the playlist for this series in the description box below, along with links for Robotech Guy at the Undisputed Combo. Check out his YouTube channel, and also, of course, his Instagram page with constant, awesome Robotech, Macross, Southern Cross, and mospeada content. And you want to put a link, if you want to put a link down below for the advanced, company
Oh,
that you're part of.
yeah,
So
yeah, we can do that. I think if anybody's interested, and follow me on Instagram, you'll see I post a lot of that. Well, I don't post a lot, but I have an ad for it that I made Robotech style. But they have shaker cups, as you can see here. There's the Protoculture formula there. We get some cool Robotech art there, and it's actually, this is actually empty, but it's good stuff. Mostly clean ingredients, right? There's only so much you can do with pre-workout formulas. And then, of course, that Minmay coin is part of a promo. When you buy them, they have ice shaker cups, and the products are good. I stand by them. So, yeah, thank you. And I appreciate it. And everybody else, thank you for your interaction here, especially on YouTube. We love the comments, we just appreciate the feedback, really. And, you could watch it, click like or not, and be done with it. But the fact that you take the time to comment, we're very grateful for that. Thank you for watching, and we do our best to make it entertaining as always.
absolutely, and this is a lot of fun to do, and it makes it even more fun when everybody's interacting with us and leaving comments and stuff like that. So leave a comment down below, if you feel like it, and hit the like button and subscribe. Both our channels if you feel so inclined to. But that's it for today, and we will be back. So take care, everybody.
Take care.